Alright, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. So today's video is something I've been wanting to do for a while, something I've had a lot of requests for over the years from you guys, which is to finally show you a bit of my collection, more specifically my binder collection. So we're going to start off with easily my favorite binder in my collection, also one of the oldest. This took about 5 years to put together to the point where it is now, and this is all unlimited stuff from the early sets, so Unlimited, Wavy, and Glossy, pretty much, with some other varieties as well, from that LOB, SDY, SDK era. So the first page, you guys can probably see right away there's a set of faded Big 3 from LOB on the first page. These are all Wavy print as well. So if I just take out the blue eyes to give you guys an idea, you guys can hopefully see the waves on it. Extremely hard to find these cards, even just Wavy Unlimited. Wavy and faded is honestly near impossible. I'd say you don't even see one of these per year come up for sale publicly on eBay or anything like that. There are very few out there, and the ones which are just tend to be in the hands of private collectors by now. And for the top and bottom row of this page, these are the Wavy Unlimited Star Deck Kyber and Star Deck Yugi Hollows. These are non-faded, obviously. I just thought it made a nice contrast for the first page to have the faded set in the middle with regular full saturation above and below. These aren't as rare. Wavy Unlimited Star Deck cards are somewhat rare, I would say. But yeah, if you want to just track down a binder set, it's not that hard to do. Alright, so moving on to the second page. This is pretty much the rest of the Wavy Unlimited Hollows from LOB. Obviously, there are 22 Hollows in LOB. We have the big 3 on the first page. These are 18 of the others, and then the only one not on this page is Trihorn Dragon. So yeah, all of these are, again, Wavy Unlimited with that wavy texture, including, I'll just show you guys the Dragon Champion, because this is easily the rarest card to find Wavy Unlimited. These, I'm not sure why they are so rare. Wavy Unlimited secret rares are kind of mysterious because, in theory, Wavy Unlimited all comes from blister packs. So every time I've seen Wavy Unlimited cards opened, it's been out of a blister pack. And blister packs should all be retail, so the retail secret rare is Gaia the Dragon Champion, and that should be the only one you can pull from a retail, well, from any blister pack. But yeah, for some reason, there's a lot of Wavy Unlimited Trihorn Dragons, and pretty much no Gaia the Dragon Champions. I've only seen like 10 to 15 in my entire time collecting, and it took a good 2 or 3 years after I started making this set until I even saw the first one. So yeah, very hard set to complete. Both in terms of just finding the other cards and then finally finding the Gaia the Dragon Champion to complete it. But yeah, very, very cool set. Wavy Unlimited has been something I've pretty much collected right since I started the hobby, 2016, 2017. Back then, pretty much no one collected Wavy Unlimited. It wasn't really known about. Obviously, it wasn't even called Wavy. People called it First Print back then. But yeah, the First Print Unlimited was something that didn't even start being collected until like 2018, I would say. And it wasn't really popular until 2019, 2020. But yeah, this set goes back a long way with me. A lot of good memories from collecting all of these. Okay, and the next set we're going over, you guys can probably see this is like a full LOB set now. This is easily the hardest set to put together that I've ever tried putting together. So this is a Glossy Unlimited LOB set, but not just the hollows. This is all the commons and rares as well, all in Glossy Unlimited. Now the only exception, which you guys might notice on the first page, you got a sharp eye, is the Trihorn Dragon. This is actually an LOB E000 European Unlimited. The reason for that is that there is no Trihorn Dragon from Glossy Unlimited LOB. Glossy Unlimited LOB, similar to Wavy, only comes for blister packs as far as we know. And unlike Wavy, which is hard to understand why there aren't many Gaias around, with Glossy, it all makes sense. There are no Trihorn Dragons, the hobby secret rare, because they only come from retail packs. Funnily enough, I've seen the uncut sheets of Glossy Unlimited LOB. There are quite a lot of them out there for the super rares and the secret rares, and the Trihorn Dragon is on the sheet. So in theory, there could be one out there, or at least you could cut one out of an uncut sheet and have a true Glossy Unlimited Trihorn Dragon. But in terms of everything that's ever been seen by collectors, there are no raw copies of this card in existence in Glossy. So just to give you guys an idea of the texture, I mean, most of you have probably seen Glossy print cards by this point. But these have that like high gloss finish, unlike the wavy ones we were just looking at. And that's the same both for the hollows, like that Blue Eyes, and also for the non-hollows. So here's a Glossy Unlimited Hitotsumi Giant. You guys can see it's got that same level of gloss on the surface again. Now, in terms of the condition of cards in my binder collections, both for this binder and just in general, for me, the front of the card is always the most important. I do aim for near mint, and in this set, I would say at least 90% of the cards are near mint or better. I think all of the non-hollows are near mint. But yeah, I'm willing to settle for like a light play card if the defects are just on the back. If it doesn't change the eye appeal of the card whatsoever in a binder, yeah, it doesn't bother me if it's only on the back. So yeah, not much to say about this first page other than that. The main thing of interest here is the Trial of Hell Unlimited. Most people know this card usually only comes in first edition. Glossy Unlimited is the only print that has Trial of Hell for an unlimited set. And as a result, it's worth quite a lot. I think a lot of the reason it's worth something is because people thought of it as a misprint over the years, which it's not. It's just simply the earlier print before they changed the name. But yeah, a lot of history behind that card. It's kind of relevant to the whole first print debate as well, so it's come into the limelight for that over the years too. And yeah, I guess let's go on to the next page. This is all just non-hollows, lots of classic nostalgic cards. LOB has always been the sort of main collecting goal for me, I guess. Originally first at LOB, and then also the Unlimited, Glossy, Wavy, and then Graded and everything. It kind of all started with LOB for me, which I'm sure is the same for a lot of other collectors as well. But yeah, in terms of finding non-hollows, these are definitely the rarest non-hollows you're ever going to find. And it's not just because of the print run, because in theory there are obviously more of the non-hollows printed than the hollows. It's just because no one knows about them, no one lists them for sale. And so actually trying to track them down for a set is just next to impossible. As far as I know, there's no one else with a set anything like this out there. There's one card missing from the set still, which is a Legendary Sword short print. These are the short prints here from this part of the set. If anyone has a Glossy Unlimited Legendary Sword, definitely hit me up. Would love to finish the set. But yeah, that's the only card that's sort of missing from this part of the binder. Some more awesome hollows on this page. Red Eye is obviously one of the big three. And the super rares can almost be harder to find than the ultra rares for the like Glossy, Wavy, Unlimited varieties. Mostly because, again, you don't see as many of them listed, especially not with pictures that actually let you tell whether they're Wavy or Glossy or, whatever. You get a lot of stock photo listings for, Trap Hole Unlimited. Whereas for Red Eyes, you can actually find a lot of people taking pictures of the card for sale. It's still not by any means easy to find any Glossy Unlimited hollow in decent shape. But yeah, you've got a better chance almost with the high-end cards than you do with the lower-end ones. Here's another page of non-hollows. Nothing too crazy here. This is the start of the next short print section. I think the reason it's divided into two different sets is because the whole set is made out of two different Japanese expansions. You've got Phantom God is this half, I think, and then the actual Legend of Blue Eyes Japanese set is the first half of the set. And each half of the set has its own short prints. So yeah, some of these short prints, again, took me a very long time to find. I think Dragon Treasure might have been the most recent card I added to the set. That was the second to last card I was missing before the Legendary Sword, which is still not there. The reason I chose to make this video now, by the way, is just because I'm thinking about changing the binder around a bit, possibly grading a few of the things in here and things like that. So I thought it would be nice to make a record of how this binder looked at this point in time before I potentially change some stuff about it. Yeah, this is the final page of this part of the binder. Glossy Exodia set there on the right. The Glossy Guy, the Dragon Champion, is easily the most common, the easiest to find Glossy Unlimited card. And the reason for that is kind of similar to the stuff we were talking about earlier. All of the packs of Glossy Unlimited are retail. So if you get a secret rare, it's always Guy, the Dragon Champion. And as a result, you'll actually pull more of these than you will even a super rare in the set, because there are 10 different super rares, but there's only one secret. Yeah, I don't think this really commands much of a premium. It's worth maybe a little bit more than a regular unlimited card, but Glossy Unlimited in general is very, very niche. Collector base is very small, and so especially for a card like this where it's not even that hard to find, the premium isn't huge over a regular original print unlimited. I hope you guys can hear me all right, by the way. I had to use a different camera setting for this just because my normal setting doesn't hold a full binder, so the microphone's a bit further away from me than it normally is. But yeah, I can always adjust the settings if it doesn't work well. Alright, so this page is the one page which doesn't really have a set purpose in the binder. Everything else is kind of part of a complete set one way or another. This is pretty much just cool cards which are put together on this page. There's some blank spots, but there's not necessarily anything that actually goes there. This page is meant to be all foil line errors. So you guys can hopefully see if I take like the Flute of Summoning Dragon, put it close up to the camera, you guys can hopefully see there's a foil line coming down over here. And that's the same for the Blue Eyes, the Red Eyes, Card Destruction. Then I had a Dark Magician, which has already been graded now. I haven't found the other two super rares. And yeah, in theory, there should be a Dark Magician here and a foil line Blue Eyes from LOB. The Dark Magician at the start of the binder, this one here is actually a foil line error, so that could kind of be swapped around. I just have it here because otherwise I wouldn't have a Dark Magician at this point in the binder. Again, hopefully you guys can see it's got a line on this side of the foil. Wait for it. There you go. But yeah, the Blue Eyes, I only know of one copy that's ever been found, foil line unlimited glossy print. Insanely rare card. I would love to pick one of those up. Probably my main want in unlimited that I still don't have. But yeah, it's pretty insane levels of rarity finding foil lines on Glossy Unlimited. Yeah, most cards have only ever been seen once or twice like that. Then on this page, this one's just here for a bit of fun. Most of you guys have probably seen one of these before. This is the fake print, the infamous fake print of First Ed LOB. They're pretty cool. I think there are only 7 hollows out there because every single box of the fakes contains the same 7 hollows. This is the only one I have. And I just have it for reference for a bit of fun. It's got that very red back. That's kind of how it's known. That's how people originally spotted the fakes when the hobby was less advanced than it is now. You guys can see it's like kind of a salmon pink compared to the orange of an actual legit Yu-Gi-Oh card. So yeah, that's nothing serious. It's just there for fun, for reference, if anyone hasn't seen one of those before. This is a Bionicle cut. I made a video about these a while ago. Same with the Monster Reborn. That's a non-factory cut card, but it's kind of related. And this is the actual Bionicle series card. It's just a random example I have here. This was meant to be pulled from the same pack as the Trap Hole. Like the same exact pack. I got these from a guy who'd had them since the early 2000s when they were opened. And then here's just kind of some extra cards. Extra Wavy Unlimited, Dark Magician, and Red Eyes. And this Dark Magician here, First Ed SDY, the reason I have this here is because it's the alternative print of First Ed SDY. So this card isn't glossy. Hopefully you guys can see it's kind of more of a matte print with a bit of a texture going on horizontally on the surface. Not a very well known about print. A lot of people still think all First Ed Stardate Yugi cards are glossy. It's not the case. These are not glossy. Alright, so next page, now we're getting on to something pretty awesome. This is a complete faded set of LOB. Now again, this is 18 cards. What's missing from this is obviously the big 3, which we already had, the faded wavy examples on the first page of the binder. And just because there's not room for everything, there's also the man-eater bug is on the next page, but we'll get to that later. This is a set that I put together mostly in the last year or so. Faded cards were gaining a lot of popularity, and they are very cool. So I ended up coming across about, I think, a third of the set initially, all in one go. And then over time, I got offered some others. I picked up the guy, the Fierce Knife, for example, when I wasn't necessarily looking to make the set. And I got close enough that I figured I might as well go for it. Now, these are a mixture. Some of these are wavy and faded. Some of them are just regular 1.5 prints. If you guys don't know the difference, I can kind of show you an example. So this Swords is 1.5. This Monster Reborn is Wavy Unlimited. And if we put them in the light, you should hopefully be able to see that the Monster Reborn has that vertical texture going on, whereas the Swords is just more of a flat texture on the surface. Aside from that, when you're looking at them head on, the prints look exactly the same. So I think they still make a good set to being even combined, 1.5 and Wavy. In an ideal world, I'd love to have this set all Wavy faded, but Wavy faded is really rare. And similar to with the Wavy LOB set that we went with earlier, the Wavy faded Guy the Dragon Champion, or any faded Guy the Dragon Champion, is by far the rarest card to get in this set. I know some other people who are pretty close to a full faded LOB set, but to be honest, I've never even seen another Guy the Dragon Champion that's close to as faded as this one. So this is for sure like the most special card in the set, and something that I'm very happy to have in my collection. Alright, so now moving on to the next page. There's the Man-Eater Bug that completes the set. That one is Wavy. And then the rest of this page is the first sort of 17 cards of a Metal Raiders set. Again, all of these are faded. And I tried to get the fades to match as closely as they can. Obviously, faded cards in general kind of vary from very lightly faded to really, really faded. So when you're making a faded set, it's kind of hard to get a consistent shade across all of the cards. But I think I did a pretty good job with this set. The Summon Skull is maybe a bit less faded than the others, but on the whole, most of these are pretty close to the maximum level of fade that you'll get from Metal Raiders. The 7 Tools in particular is insanely faded, pretty much just gray, like the trap hole on the previous page. That's very rare to find for Metal Raiders, to be honest. If you're thinking of fades as like a percentage, then I'd say usually with Metal Raiders, you get anything from full saturation to maybe 80, 85, 90% faded. But it's very rare to find one like the 7 Tools where there pretty much is 0 magenta in the card. You see that a lot more with LOB than you do with MRD. And the Magic Jammer, obviously this is an unlimited set for the most part. I wasn't able to find, or at least I haven't yet been able to find, an unlimited faded Magic Jammer. So yeah, for now the Magic Jammer is first ed. Doesn't really match the rest of the set in that sense, but they are all faded. Oh, sorry guys, my camera just cut out there. But yeah, so we just finished with this page. The next page has the rest of the faded MRD set, the last 5 cards. This spot here isn't actually missing anything. It's just simply, we've had 44 faded cards. That's how many faded cards there are in these sets. So it's not a multiple of 3. So there's just, yeah, there's a spare spot. I'll think of something to put in there. Maybe a faded card from another set. Or, yeah, just whatever I think of. The bottom of the page, these are Glossy Unlimited Star Deck Yugioh Hollows. These are actually the ones I pulled from my Glossy Unlimited Star Deck opening a couple years back. So these are the hollows, and then the non-hollows are what you see on the next page and beyond. Just the Dark Magician, I actually graded the one that I pulled, so this is a separate copy I was able to find. But it's also deck fresh condition-wise. Now you guys can see on the next page we've got some samples. These are the first ed samples that I picked up a while back in my mail day. So all of these are first edition, the ones that say sample on the back. When I first picked them up, I wasn't sure how to display them in a binder the best way, because if you just have them from the front, then you don't even see that they're a sample. They just look like any old first ed Star Deck Yugioh common. But if you have them from the back only, then it gets a bit repetitive. You just got the word sample on every slot of the binder. So yeah, the compromise I found in the end was to display them alongside my Glossy Unlimited Star Deck Yugioh set. So you see the Glossy Unlimited one facing forward, so you get the art, and then the first ed sample that corresponds to it, so this is Mystical Elf next to Mystical Elf, facing backwards, so you can see the word sample. That's the same for every card coming up here, so Feral Imp is after the Unlimited Feral Imp, and so on. Summon Skull is probably the most valuable sample in first edition. Probably partially because it matches with the Unlimited sample. You can kind of make a set, but also just it's an iconic card. For sure the best common in Star Deck Yugioh. And I've got one card still missing from the sample deck. That's the sample Celtic Guardian. If you guys have one for sale, definitely hit me up. I'm happy to pay pretty much any price just to get the set finished. it's very hard to find specific samples if you're looking for them. So I've already been looking for the Celtic Guardian for a while, but every one that I can find is either, you know, already in a complete set, or it's graded, or something else. So haven't been able to find a raw copy to complete my set yet. Aside from this, lots of nostalgia in Starter Deck Yugioh. For a lot of people, this was the first deck they had. It was my first deck as well. I had a Starter Deck Kyber as well back in the day, but the Yugioh was the first deck I was able to get, just because they were sold out of Starter Deck Kyber at the time. So yeah, this set just has a huge amount of nostalgia, a huge amount of good memories for me. There's some overlap with the cards from LOB, like Fisher, Trap Hole, Dark Hole, Two-Pronged Attack. Obviously just as commons instead of rares and supers. And that's the other, I guess, best common in the set, alongside Summon Skull, is the Change of Heart. I think the sample it's worth like probably $500 for a Change of Heart, so a bit more than the other samples, which tend to be, I would say, $200 range for a decent condition copy from what I've seen. And a few of these cards weren't printed in Europe. The first deck I had was a European first ed starter deck, so Man-Eating Treasure Chest, I think, is one of them, for example. There are 4 commons that they just randomly took out of the set. SGYE only has 46 cards, so 43 commons instead of 50. And yeah, this is the final page of the samples. Ultimate Offering is the last card in the deck. And you guys can see after that we've got the Star Deck Kaiba Glossy Unlimited, which is again the same set that I pulled in the video, aside from the Blue Eyes, which I graded, and so this is a separate copy I picked up. No samples for SDK. Most of you guys probably already know that by now. Back when the first Ed samples first started getting found, people were saying, oh, this SDK as well as SDY, and there's hollows, and there's this and that. But yeah, it's pretty common knowledge now that it's only for the first edition Starter Deck Yugioh commons. So there's no hollows, and there's also no SDK. And I would say the reason for that is that they didn't actually print Starter Deck Kaiba until a little bit after Starter Deck Yugioh for the commons. As far as we can tell, Starter Deck Yugioh was kind of like the guinea pig sheet when they were setting up printing cards in the US in general. So all of the earliest sheets we have are Starter Deck Yugioh commons. There's a lot of uncut sheets, kind of test print sheets with crazy stuff going on with the Eye of Anubis, like that Monster Reborn you saw earlier in this binder. And they probably didn't print Starter Deck Kyber until just a little bit after that, because I guess when they were printing this, it was just for the purposes of putting them in the first ed decks that were going to stores. Whereas for Starter Deck Yugioh, they were making the sample decks, they were doing this and that, test prints. So those were a little bit earlier in the production process. And yeah, that's the final page of the binder, guys. You can see the Flute of Summoning Dragon at the top, and then the last 8 commons. If you're wondering what the binder itself is, this is actually made by Monster. I'm not sure if they even make binders anymore. They're for sure not one of the front runners anymore in the binder industry. I've had this binder for ages. You can see it's pretty beat up. It's got like cracked covers and stuff. It's just kind of a nostalgic binder for me. I got it as part of a collection I bought way back, probably 2016 or early 2017. One of the first collections I picked up after coming back to the hobby. So yeah, it's been through a lot with me. And what I do like about Monster binders, I don't know if it's all Monster binders or just this one because I don't have any others, but the pockets are actually kind of shaped for smaller size cards, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, rather than standard. So you can't really fit a Pokemon card in here. I can actually show you guys, if we go back to the those Bionicle cuts, these are Pokemon size, and you can see it barely fits in, it kind of sticks out a little bit. So this binder actually wouldn't work for standard size cards, which is kind of what most binders these days are designed for. But it works absolutely great for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's nice to have the cards a little bit kind of tighter, cleaner looking in the pockets than they do when they're sort of floating around in those big standard size pockets that most binders have. But yeah, I probably should update the binder at some point. This has just always been the binder that these cards have been in when I've been collecting the sets. I've never moved them around into a different binder. So at this point it's just kind of habit, but I probably will change it just because the binder is literally like falling apart at this point. But yeah, with that being said, that pretty much brings us to the end of this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed finally seeing a bit of my binder collection. I've had so many requests over the years, both like Instagram and YouTube, people just telling me to show them a bit of my collection. So yeah, I hope you had some fun looking through this binder. I still have, I'm not even sure exactly, probably 25 binders, 30 binders, aside from this, which I haven't shown you guys. So there's plenty of stuff that we can potentially still look at in the future. And I do plan for sure to show you guys at least some of those binders as well, if and when the time comes. But for now, we've reached the end of this video. So this is Schlost signing out, and I hope you guys all have a great day.